Today, we're going to be taking the opioid overdose course on End Overdose's website. If you've been going to music festivals for a while, or if you're new to the scene, one thing that you should know is obviously substances are a very prominent part of the culture. And this is not me encouraging or discouraging it. This is just me speaking from the perspective of someone who's been in the scene for over 10 years. And of course, with the increase of fentanyl detection in prominent festival drugs like MDMA, cocaine, and ketamine, it's extremely important that you know how to look for and treat an overdose when it arises. Because God forbid you bring one of your friends to their first rave and they decide to try something and they end up dying. I don't think anyone wants that. So today we're going to be taking the opioid overdose course on End Overdose's website. Got it up here right now. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. I heard you actually might see a familiar face in there. All right, so we're on the End Overdose website. We're going to go to courses. Going to go to opioid overdose, start course, and register. I'm going to go ahead and log in with a different email so I can start from the beginning because I kind of already went in on my other email and started the course. Password, give me that last pass, baby. Cool, I got 25 XP. I really like what End Overdose has done with their website, by the way. All right, so we've got Opioid Overdose V 2.0. So let's go ahead and start watching.
Fentanyl.
A potent synthetic opioid that can kill.
Our nation's fentanyl crisis.
Just another overdose.
Now, if you or someone you know might be experiencing an overdose.
So this is exactly what I'm talking about. The fentanyl crisis is going crazy right now.
Come on.
Wow. So cinematic. I gotta hand it to End Overdose. They always have the most cinematic looking videos. Definitely go and check out their other videos if you haven't already gotten a chance. Also, what did she take that she's in the front seat of her car? Like, is she taking Molly to drive? Ah, the boy Zedge. Shout out Zedge, by the way.
Unprecedented levels, claiming over 107,000 lives in 2023.
We believe being able to respond to an overdose should be as common as knowing CPR.
Because it can happen to anyone, anywhere,
hey, it's
and
Mickey.
not knowing what to do is terrifying.
This
Look at that, there's Daniel on the left.
Actionable knowledge so you can respond to an overdose.
Let me show you how it's done. Step
Ah,
one,
Fizzy.
identify. Check for
Did they get a
signs and
whole
symptoms.
airplane for
Then
this?
move to step two.
Oh my
Call
God.
911. Either you do it or get someone nearby to. Now it's time for step three.
That's really important.
Administer naloxone.
A lot of people forget the first step you should always do. First off, before that is make sure that your surroundings are safe, and then you call 911. I mean, a lot of times you'll be at a festival, but God forbid there's like a stampede of people leaving a stage or something, and you're trying to administer naloxone, but you can't because you keep getting trampled by the people who are trying to get out of the stage and they have no idea what the hell's going on. So they're just all running to one side. So always check your surroundings before you get help because you don't want to put your life or your safety at risk. The purpose of this course is to how to tie your shoes. To make award-winning chili. To make award-winning nose chili, aka naloxone. Obviously, the answer is how to identify and respond to opioid overdoses. All right, Chapter 1, Drugs 101. What is an opioid overdose and what are the signs and symptoms?
So, what are opioids and opiates anyway?
Opioids and opiates are a specific class of drug that are typically used to treat pain. A new overdose risk is the introduction of synthetic opioids like fentanyl being mixed into non-opioid drugs like cocaine, meth, MDMA, Adderall, ketamine, and Xanax.
These are all drugs where if you're in the festival space, you know that these are pretty much just a couple friends away. Probably have friends who have some of this on them. This is just a common staple in the scene. And some of the stuff, even like Adderall, which is prescribed to a lot of people. I mean, I didn't even know that that could get cut with fentanyl, but it just shows to you, you can never be too careful. Because these are all common drugs in the scene, it puts ravers at very high risk of overdose, which is once again why you should be taking this course.
This means that people are at high risk of overdose because the drug that somebody thought was pure has a much more powerful drug cut into it.
Fentanyl is not a boogeyman. It is commonly used in anesthesia for sedation before surgery and for treating severe pain in an ambulance when you break an arm.
Yeah, fentanyl is actually very useful, but in medical settings.
It is one of a handful of prescription opioids, but it's also highly addictive, and its potency is 100 times that of morphine.
Also, it's very cheap to produce. For a drug dealer, it's more cost-effective to sell a fake pill cut with fentanyl.
So, of course, this is a question that gets asked a lot, which is why drug dealers even cut fentanyl into drugs in the first place. And a large reason is because, as mentioned, it's a lot cheaper to produce, and also it's highly addictive. And obviously, the cartel, the first-line drug dealers who sell the product, they're not really focused on how many lives are being endangered by selling this product. They're more focused on making money, as unfortunate and as disgusting as that is, which is why it is important to test your stuff and also know how to respond to an overdose.
They're obviously not FDA approved, so there is no way for them to accurately check.
Oh my God. Illegal drugs not FDA approved? No way.
Responding to an overdose where xylazine is involved remains the same, and emergency medical services will be critically needed.
What is an opioid? Drugs with effects similar to morphine when they reach receptor sites, drugs that are morphine derivatives, heroin-based molecules, poppy plants. Well, I don't think it's poppy plants, whatever that is. Drugs with effects similar to morphine when they reach receptor sites, I would say is probably the most accurate answer. Okay, Module 2, opioid overdose.
An opioid overdose occurs when someone uses a highly potent or excessive amount of opioids.
The brain gets overwhelmed and the person's breathing slows to a stop. So when these sites become occupied by opioids,
I love the animations, by the way.
And vital organs like the heart and brain shut down.
Brain and other organ
Zed, you guys
damage
killed
can be
this.
severe during this stage.
All right, well, that was a short module. What is an opioid overdose? Suffocating, passing out, central nervous system depression, dying. Well, it could lead to dying, but that is obviously not what an opioid overdose is. The definition of an opioid overdose would be central nervous system depression, as they just stated. All right, module 3, not knowing what to do. Signs and symptoms. Ah, we got a familiar face.
What'd she take?
Who's that?
Not knowing what to do or being too apprehensive to act is a common reason that people die from an overdose.
It doesn't have to be this way. If you know the steps, then responding is relatively simple. The first one is
The
unconsciousness.
OOT.
Opioids are depressants, meaning they inhibit the central nervous system. If someone was just asleep, loud noises or painful stimulation would wake them up.
So to check for unconsciousness, try waking them up. First tap or gently shake them, and if they're still not responding, perform a trapezius pinch. Locate the trapezius muscle on either side of the person's neck, then use your index finger and your thumb to squeeze the trapezius muscle.
So if you've ever tried this on a friend or had someone try it on you, it hurts. If someone doesn't respond to that and wake up, they're unconscious.
Next symptom in the opioid overdose triad is slowed or stopped breathing.
To check their breathing, use the look and listen method. Drop down and put your ear by their mouth to listen for air while watching their chest rise and fall.
The third symptom in the opioid overdose triad is pinpoint pupils, and it's especially unique to opioid overdoses.
To check,
This is
stand on
a
your phone,
very key
turn
one.
on your flashlight. Then gently lift up their eyelid and wave the light in and out of their eye. If their pupil is pinpoint and doesn't react, they've got pinpoint pupils.
Some other common signs and symptoms are cyanosis, which is bluish skin.
Or their skin may be cool, moist, or clammy. The final symptom is known as bradycardia, which means slow heart rate.
There are two methods to check someone's heart rate, radial and carotid. To check someone's carotid pulse, first find the area on one side of their neck near their trachea. Next, put the tips of your index and long finger
Carotid?
in the groove of their neck along their windpipe.
All right, what is the opioid overdose triad? Nausea, vomiting, and high heart rate? No, because usually they are passed out. Rapid breathing, high heart rate, flushed skin. That might happen before they are about to pass out or maybe after. But generally speaking, the best way to tell is the pinpoint pupils or constricted pupils, respiratory depression, and unconsciousness. Nice. All right, now on to chapter 2, probably the most important part of the course.
Naloxone is a reversal agent that literally breathes life back into the person overdosing.
It acts by forcing opioid molecules off of receptor sites and blocking further connection.
The naloxone does eventually wear off, and the
Yeah,
person
naloxone
can fall back
is
into an
like
overdose.
So it's
a
important to
fucking
call 911
magic
and get
worker.
the person transported to a hospital.
The naloxone dosage
shit straight
and
up
the way it is
reverses the
administered determines its
entire
strength. It is
process.
most effective when delivered through a vein, and second most effective when delivered through a muscle.
God, I can't watch needles go into skin.
The third most effective route is intranasal.
So it's important to note that doing the naloxone spray through your nose is the third most effective way to administer naloxone. If the first spray doesn't work, you have another one on deck and the person is non-responsive to that, you can always try using a second dose. If you use it and they're actually not overdosing, it won't actually do anything to you. So it's just one of those things where even when in doubt, you just might as well use it because it's better to be safe than sorry. Or in this case, better to be alive than dead. All right, what is naloxone? It is not a powerful opioid. It is actually the opposite of an opioid. An agent that negates the effect of a poison or toxin? No, that would just make it God medicine. Unfortunately, naloxone is not that. It's close, but not quite. We're gonna go with this first answer. Nice. All right, Narcan and naloxone are dangerous and should not be used. No, not true. Chemically the same. Narcan is a brand name. Naloxone is a generic. So yeah, this is a common question actually. So it turns out Narcan is actually just a brand that makes naloxone spray, but naloxone itself is actually the chemical that is used to reverse an opioid overdose. And so we're gonna go with the second answer, which is chemically they are the same. Narcan is a brand name and naloxone is a generic. All right, module 5.
Patient populations are an additional factor that determines the effectiveness of naloxone. Because fentanyl is mixed into drugs that aren't opioids.
That is
like Xanax
definitely
and
baking
Adderall,
powder.
Many overdoses occur to opioid-naive people.
Opioid withdrawal includes symptoms like anxiety, nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. If someone is opioid tolerant and they are administered naloxone during an overdose, then they may experience precipitated withdrawal, which is rapid and profound, with symptoms like bone aches, fever, chills, nausea, vomiting, and profound feelings of unhappiness.
Yeah, and that vomiting can be projectile vomiting too. After someone overdoses, make sure the first thing that you're gonna wanna do, obviously, is get the person to a hospital. As much as you can administer care in the situation there yourself, you still wanna get them in front of professionals where professionals can actually finish the job. So I would say go to the hospital. The naloxone may wear off and they will go back into an overdose. That is possible, actually. Depending on the dose that you are administering, it's very possible that it could bring the person out of an overdose enough, but once that naloxone wears off, if what they took was a lot, then it's very possible for them to move back into an overdose. So we're gonna go ahead and go with that first answer. I don't think we've got a question wrong yet. All right, module 6. Administering. Oh, hey, it's Mickey again, and me.
Call 911.
After identifying an overdose, it is crucial that you or someone around you calls 911.
Good thing is, administering intranasal naloxone is simple and can be done quickly. First, peel back the package to remove the device. Then hold it with 2 fingers on either side of the nozzle and your thumb on the plunger. Next, put the
Man,
nozzle
I say
into their
strapped
nostril
on that
until your
thing,
fingers
bro. Look at
touch
that
the bottom
finger
of the
grip.
nose. Now, press firmly on the plunger to administer the dose.
Brain cells begin to die after about a minute without oxygen, and at 3 minutes, lasting brain damage becomes more likely.
You don't need to be a certified medic or
Yeah,
doctor.
so
to
it
give
is
safety breaths.
super
These
crucial
can
that
be a
you
deciding
act
factor
immediately.
whether the person lives or dies.
If you do the second dose, make sure to use the other nose, the other nostril, other nose, their second nose. They just grow a nose out of their cheek and you just make injections into what? Ligaments, muscle tissue like the deltoid, shoulder, glutes, quads, etc., bones, and fat. You want to make sure the injection is into the muscle tissue, like the deltoid, your shoulder, or your glutes, or your quads. And yes, you can go through clothes. What is an easy way to help draw up the medicine? I would say flipping the vial upside down seemed to be what they were doing. To be honest, I just might get this one wrong. Oh, never mind. I pay attention. At what degree do we make the injection? That is a great question. I'm gonna go with 90 degrees. Wait, the degree angles, this would be 90, right? From the top or from the side? Wouldn't that, I'm just gonna 90. Wow, I'm good. Rescue breathe, how often? All right, so we're gonna do not 1 breath every second. Once every 6 minutes, that is a long time. I'm gonna go with 1 breath every 5 seconds. Still undefeated so far. Chapter 3, naloxone facts and response recap. Don't know if I'm in any more of this, but it was interesting watching myself.
Their breathing should normalize and color should begin to return to their face.
Some precautions should be taken when giving naloxone.
Many opioids remain in the body longer than naloxone, which eventually wears off, risking another overdose. Stronger opioids require multiple doses of naloxone, so calling 911 and getting professional treatment is crucial.
Does naloxone have any side effects?
People with a physical dependence to opioids may experience precipitated withdrawal within minutes after they are given naloxone. And these include headaches, changes in blood pressure, rapid heart rate, sweating, nausea, vomiting, and tremors.
A study performed at the University of Albany showed that naloxone can be effective for years, even decades after it expires. So use it if you've got it.
What if I administer naloxone and the person doesn't regain consciousness?
In some cases, you may not get a physical response. The person may remain unconscious, or they may only begin breathing.
All right, so once again, it is super, super important, first and foremost, that you get help and you get them breathing again. Those are the topmost priorities, and that's why knowing how to do the rescue breathing is really important. Should I still call 911 even when administering naloxone? 911 is the most important thing. So yes, naloxone only lasts 30 to 90 minutes. If you accidentally give naloxone to someone not overdosing on opioids, it has no bad parts. Whoever came up with these options, man, you gotta give it to them. So it's got no life-threatening side effects, but if someone does take something like xylazine, that might complicate things a little bit. Again, just make sure to try to get the person breathing as soon as possible and get help. It has no life-threatening side effects. If I don't notice the naloxone working, when should I give the second dose? So you want to give another dose about 2 or 3 minutes after the first dose if the person is not responding. Module 8, unconsciousness.
This is a lot of info, but we've broken it down in 4 simple steps.
It is a lot of info, but it's important and it's necessary.
Step 1 is identify. Check for signs and symptoms. Remember the opioid overdose triad. And now that you've identified the opioid overdose triad, move to step 2, call 911. Either you do it or get someone nearby to. Now it's time for step 3, administer naloxone.
Get help.
Take out your naloxone, remove it from the package, and hold it like this with your thumb on the plunger. Then, stick it in their nose and press the plunger with your thumb. Next, step 4, continue care. Begin rescue breaths. After 2 to 3 minutes of rescue breathing, take out another dose of naloxone and administer.
I like that they go over this multiple times because I feel like that's how people really remember this.
Paramedics arrive.
It won't harm them.
If you run out of naloxone and the person still hasn't woken up, continue rescue breathing until paramedics arrive.
All right, how long does naloxone last? I mean, it could last 45 minutes. 30 to 90 minutes is more of an accurate statement though. Your safety always comes. Safety is irrelevant. Risk a lot to save a lot. That's amazing. Yeah, this is not Vegas. So no, that's not true. This is also not an action movie. Your safety always comes first. Naloxone does not cause aggression, but people may become aggressive once revived. Remember to always keep yourself safe. Leave the scene if someone becomes aggressive. Could do that, but you know, if help hasn't arrived, then you definitely don't want to leave the person by themselves. Ignore it. I guess you could just sit there as they're like, I need my Vicodin. So that's probably not the best case scenario. I would say use a calming voice is probably the best case scenario. Just keep them calm as much as you can, and definitely don't restrain them. But to be honest, I might get this question wrong. Oh, my first wrong question. All right. So then the answer would be keep yourself safe. Even if you have to leave the scene, again, your safety is also very important. So that makes complete sense. All right, Module 9, take action.
To unprecedented levels.
Claiming over 1 million lives since 1999.
With more than 107,000 deaths reported in 2023 alone.
We propose a multifaceted approach to address these challenges and create a meaningful impact. Take action as hundreds of thousands of people across the country have.
You can join a chapter or start one of your own in your hometown or at your school.
Join today and become a volunteer.
And sign up on our website. Train people to become heroes in their community.
By delivering life-saving knowledge and resources.
Volunteer.
If someone say fundraise, start one today on our website at endoverdose.net or do it on Facebook and Instagram.
And all the proceeds are put into ending this crisis that has affected almost every American.
No one else has to die.
No one else has to die. Well done, End Overdose. Was a great course. Zedge, shout out to you. Theo, shout out. You guys did a great job with this. The shots all look amazing. Even though it was a lot of information, it was still a very digestible course to take in. So that's been the course. Definitely go check it out. Take the course, guys. Get naloxone certified. Oh, wow. I earned 75 points completing this course. Once you complete the course, it will take you to this screen. You can use special links to claim naloxone, fentanyl test strips, xylazine test strips. Let's see what happens when we click naloxone. It'll take you to this screen, and you can go ahead and add this to cart, and they will send you a package. I've already got my packages. Ta-da! So this is what will get sent to you if you complete the course. Go ahead and open it right now. Mine did come with a couple of extra things, like some candy bracelets, but the most important thing is going to be your naloxone, which I carry one in pretty much every bag that I have. Even if I'm just going out somewhere, like to eat with a friend or just leaving my apartment, you can never be too careful. And yeah, you can also order test strips through the site. They even give you these cute little stickers. So yeah, guys, please go and check out End Overdose. Take the course, take the training. These things happen more often than you think. Even if you haven't had any experience with someone having an overdose, you should always be prepared. So definitely stay safe, stay prepared out there, and stay strapped with your naloxone because you never know when you're going to use it. Thank you, End Overdose, for doing so much for this community. We are so appreciative of you. All right, guys, that's been the end of this video. I'll be working on some more videos very soon, but until then, stay safe out there, keep it plur, and I'll see you in the next episode.